Okay, I started the recording right now. Okay, so I think you can see my screen. In this one, we're supposed to talk about lines now. These three lines. So let's start. So first one, what are the requirements for a line chart? One date, zero or more dimensions, one or more measures. So let me select a date. Say I'm selecting order date. Okay, and one or more measures. I'm selecting a measure. Okay, now once I selected that, these two got highlighted. Now if you observe, there are two options: lines continuous and lines discrete. Okay, lines continuous and lines discrete. So let's talk about what is lines continuous and what is lines discrete. Okay, so before we do that, remember what are we using lines with? A date, right? So mainly we use whenever there is a date, that means whenever there is a trend, then we use a line chart. So if we want to see any variations, till now we had used horizontal bars or any bars or pie or bubble, but now we can also use line chart. So for example, right now in this one we are seeing different variations. Okay, we are seeing different variations are categories here for each year. Okay, had this been a line chart or bar, it would have been like this. This is a stacked one. Okay, so this would have been my bar, this is my line. So what is the difference between, like, basically when should we use a line and when should we use a bar? Whenever there is a trend, that means whenever you're trying to compare something with time, okay, then we have to use a line chart. This is a best practice. This is not something mandatory. You can always switch according to your requirements. Okay, now let's see. There are two types here: lines continuous and lines discrete. What do we operate these lines with? Dates. Now when I say continuous, I mean there is a range. So for example, first let's see which one this is. This one. This is in continuous mode. Okay, now instead of year, let me try to get month, and I'll remove category just so that it will be easy for us to understand for now. Okay, so this is my variation of sum of sales per month for different months. What is this? This is continuous. Now when I do discrete, okay, now I'm selecting discrete. Okay, you see discrete option here, and only month is selected here. If I select month here, which indicates the month and also the year, if I do this, this will be moved to a continuous graph. Okay, I guess you got the idea, but let me clarify once again. So basically in a continuous chart, okay, in a continuous chart, everything is continuous. So for example, say there is November 2011 and then November 2012. Okay, so in continuous, these two are different, whereas if you are checking month in discrete, these two are same because it's November in both the places. It doesn't care about which year it is coming from. Now imagine that I have 3 months: November 2011, November 2012 and November 2013. if it's continuous, okay? Okay, if it's like this. Now, if there is a November 2014 that comes into picture, then I can place it here because I know this is continuous. Whereas, if this was a discrete thing, I have it like this. Now, there is one more November that comes into picture. Can you place it here at the end or in the middle or in the left or leftmost? You don't know. The reason you don't know is that it's not continuous. It doesn't have a range. These are three individual points. Remember, we talked about the same thing while we were talking about continuous and discrete option in sales. So for example, say I dragged sales, okay, and here I have category. Let me generate a this one, okay. Here I'll take quantity and color this. Now because this is continuous range, because this is continuous, I have a range. Whereas if this would have been discrete, okay, convert to discrete and then color it. Now I have three individual values. Okay, so discrete means those are individual, and continuous they will have a range. Okay, now that is the difference between a continuous and a discrete line chart. Is everyone clear? Do you have any questions? What is the difference between a discrete line and a continuous line? Any questions, guys? Discrete
So
and continuous?
then once again, we're
Okay,
using Tableau example.
so let's see. I'll generate one small chart here with order date and sales. And instead of year, I'll try to select quarter, okay? Now observe this. This one, how is this selected? Continuous, right? When it's continuous, what is the option selected for quarter? Q2 2015. That means not just your quarter, your year is also taking into account. Okay? Now if I select this option, just Q2, that means any Q2 is same, right? It can be from 2014, 2011, 2012. It just should be from second quarter. Say if I selected month here, okay, I'll select the month over there. Now what happened when I selected the month here? It became discrete because I'm only taking May, June into picture. I'm not taking May 2015 and May 2014 into picture. If it's May 2015, May 2014 with the year, then it would be continuous. This is the answer for continuous one. So if you observe here, there is a May 2011, May 2012, May 2013, May 2014 and so on. Whereas had this been a discrete one, there is only one May. Now you might ask me, where did May 2013, May 2014, all of these values go to? So see this, what are the total sales here? 156,122. Okay. Now let me take year into account and color this. For May, it was 159, right? This is 23,000, 30,000, 45,000 and 56,000. In total, it would come to this value. Okay. Now here for the whole month of May, everything is taken May 2011, May 2012, 2013, 2014 because just May is taken into account. Whereas had this been a continuous one, month, this is continuous one, there is different option or sorry, there is different point for May 2011, May 2011, May 2012, 2013 and May 2014. Okay, are you clear now?
Yes, sir.
Anyone who did not understand? Continuous and discrete is important. So right now this is discrete, okay? Now I can place something after this one. If it's discrete, I can place something after that. If it's continuous, I can never place a dimension after this, okay? That's one of the important things, and people get confused a lot. So right now, this is Q2 2015. This is continuous, right? So when it's continuous, I cannot place anything to the right side of that. So for any green pill, this is green in color, right? And discretes are blue in color. So blue comes first, always. Blue comes first and only then green comes. Okay, so right now order date, I'm taking it as a continuous one. That's why you cannot place category to the right side of quarter. If I try to place it, it will be placed on the left side. Whereas had this been a discrete one, okay? Had this been a discrete one, okay? Now I can place category to the right side of that. Okay? It's one of the major conditions. For discrete and continuous, that's the major distinction, okay? This is my second quarter and so on. Okay, awesome. Any questions?
Shiva, when you place an additional column, it becomes a bar chart, right?
You mean like this? When it was something like this?
Yes.
Yeah, this is just automatic. You can always control this. From the mark shelf, you can control that. Okay? So Revan asked a question. That means November 2011 to May, it is for all months, right? Revan, I did not understand your question. Okay, awesome. So then let's go to the next one. Now that we have seen both the graphs, you understood both of these, right? The line continuous and line discrete. Continuous and discrete. Now the next one we'll see is dual lines. Let me open one more sheet. In dual lines, you require one date, minimum of two measures. So let me select a date, select 1 minute. I'll convert to continuous this one. Okay, now I'll select these two measures and order date. This is highlighted dual lines. I'll click on that. Now in this dual lines, if you observe, for quantity, quantity has blue color. Okay, this is my quantity axis. Sales is orange in color. So sales is orange in color. Okay, sales is orange in color and the axis for sales is on the right side. So this one is to find a similar trend between two similar items. Sorry, a trend between two similar items. So you want to compare the progress of quantity with the progress of sales. Then you can use this one. For example, okay, remember we did the same thing in a similar case like this. Now, what is the difference between this one and that one? The only thing is here we have different axes. This axis is different from this axis. We could have done it this way too. So, okay, here we are comparing the trend between two similar items of quantity and sales in my case. And this is how the graph looks like. Now, if you want to, like make these axes same, okay? That means whatever is listed here should be here, and whatever axis is here should also reflect here. For that, what we'll do, click here, okay? This is dual axis right now, and click on synchronize axis. Oops, sorry. One moment. Okay. So to remove it, you can remove it that way. Format, mark type, select marks, edit axis. All of these options can be used. Okay. To not do that, you can also do it like this. To have it a dual axis, mark it dual axis. Okay. Is everyone clear? Okay, awesome. Any questions? Guys, this is important. The graphs are basic idea or basic templates with which you will use to develop based on that. Okay. If you have no other questions, we'll proceed further. If you want to see only one axis, so Sriharsha asked me, what should we do if you want to see only one axis? Right click, show header. Now only one axis is being shown. To show this again, click on show header. Okay. Perfect. So sometimes right now there is a small bug going on. Okay. There is a small bug in synchronize axis option. Okay. To do that, we have to make a small calculated field to make both of them similar, and then only we can convert the synchronize axis. Okay. This one, the synchronize axis option, right now it's unchecked. Sorry, it's not highlighted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the data type is different for both of them. The sales is float and quantity is integer. That's why this difference happened. Okay. Number whole, whereas for sales, number decimal. When both of them are same, then you can use the synchronize axis option. To do that, what we generally do is that if you want to convert this, create calculated field. Now I'll try to convert this to a floating number. Simple, right? Float of my quantity. All right, float. This is just the name that I'm giving on top. Click OK. Now this is my float and this is my sales. see this option synchronize axis happened right now. Now to synchronize axis, that means this axis will be same to this axis. To do that, right click and synchronize axis. Now if you observe this bar, I know it might be confusing a little bit. This is very, very small, and at the very bottom it's present. So let me do one small thing. Okay, I guess now you can understand. I have simply made the axis as logarithmic so that I can bring this to the top. That's all. Don't get confused here. Okay, I just made this logarithmic so that you can take a look at this and compare that we are getting these values also. In the earlier case, this is at the bottom, so you could not even compare them, right? So that's why I brought it to the logarithmic axis. Is everyone clear why I did logarithmic axis? Why did I do this? So that I can bring it from the bottom to the top so that you can view. That's all. So you can even convert this into a bar. Now one moment. My size. If you observe these small bars right now, I'm right now superimposing them. Let me use logarithmic. Do you observe this? Like there is one bar and inside that I have one more bar. So you can also do it that way. So if you want to convert all of them to bars or both of them, right now if you observe, I have a marked shelf for sum of float of quantity and one for sum of sales. So I can make all the controls right from here, all of them that I generally use. And if I need to control both of them at the same time, then I can directly control it from here. Okay. If I need to give a color, I can definitely do this from here. Okay. Is everyone clear? Okay, Raven asked to show the step again. Which step, Raven? Is everyone clear on all the steps here that I used to synchronize the axis? That's one of the most used step we do. We synchronize the axis so that we can find it something like in this mode. So right now these two have a synchronized axis. The axis for this one and axis for this one is same, right? How is that? In this one, in this graph, we also wanted to do the same. So to do that, what should we do? Right click and click on the synchronize axis option. If you do it here, you'll not find that. Only you have to right click here to do the synchronize axis. If you click on synchronize axis, both axes will be the same. Now that we have made both of them same, what will we generally do? We'll hide one of them. And then here, what will we write? Edit axis, float of quantity, comma, sales axis. So here I am changing the title present. Click OK. Observe the title that changed here. Okay, this is something that we use extensively in a dual graph. I'm assuming everyone is clear. Okay, next we'll go to the area maps or area charts. So in this one, in area, this is not the correct selection to be used. So let's see. In area, it requires a date, 0 or more dimensions, and 1 or more measures. So I'll select a date, a dimension, and a measure. Okay. So this one here, I'm showing an area map. So right now, what can you compare? This is the whole thing. So the top point here signifies the total sales for all three categories. Top point. If you are getting confused, I'll do one small thing. One small thing. Okay. Now this one is nothing but a line. So this is the simple line graph. What am I comparing here? Order date and sales. But if I put, now I want to see distinctions per category. So if I do it this way, basically my whole line is divided. Right now, I don't know which of the sum of which values is big, or if the total sales for 2012 is more, or 2011 is more, and 2013 is more. I do not know that. So for that, what do I generally do? We use an area chart. Okay. If you use an area chart, the topmost point, this one here, signifies the total sum of sales, in this case for the specified date. For 2012, the total sum of sales is this point. So now I can say, okay, 2011 has more sales compared to 2012. Along with that, I can also compare individual values. May not be completely on the whole, but I can not just compare the actual total value, but individual values. Okay. So you might have observed this in a similar case, something like this. Okay. When do you use a stack bar? If you want to find distinctions, okay, if you want to find distinctions, but also part of a whole. Right now, this is part of a whole, right? In a similar case, we use area charts. For a whole thing, we also want to see distinctions. Then we use an area chart. In area also, we have two types. Area charts continuous and area charts discrete. It's the same definition as we use for line charts discrete and line charts continuous. Okay, awesome. Now the next chart that we'll see is dual combination. Let's see, what do we require for a dual combination? One date, a minimum of two measures, 0 or more dimensions. So let me select those two measures and then one date. This is highlighted, my dual combination, and I'll select that. This is the dual combination. Remember, we had one small thing here. The quantity is being shown in bar, right? So if this is line, then this is a dual line chart. Okay, this was my dual lines. If I select this, see, nothing is changing. This is my dual lines. What is dual combination? This one is nothing but one of them will be shown as a bar and one of them will be shown as a line. That's all. That's the only small change. Bar, bar, and line. So even from a dual chart, you can generate a dual combination. So if I convert from automatic line to bar, this is my dual combination. Okay, guys? Simple, right? Okay, perfect. Any questions? Lines, line discrete, line continuous, area discrete, area continuous. Then we have a dual line. This is my dual line. And then we have a dual combination.
Shiva, I didn't find any difference between continuous lines and dual lines
Answer continuous lines.
and
This
dual.
one,
Yeah.
this is my continuous line. This is my dual line. Continuous, dual. Do you mean to say dual lines and dual combination? Dual lines and dual combination?
No, dual lines.
Sorry?
Just dual lines, not combination.
Okay, just this is dual lines. What did you not understand in this?
No, difference of continuous and dual one.
This is my continuous, right? Are you comparing both of these in the same plane? Okay, now can you say me, um, is is there an increase in, sorry, 1 minute. If I say, is the rate of decrease, right now this value is decreasing from 2011 to 2012, and this is also decreasing from 2011 to 2012. Now, can you compare, is the decrease or the rate of decrease in quantity more or rate of decrease in sales more? You cannot answer that question, right? You need these two to be superimposed. That means on only one chart, you want both of these lines to be present. So to do that, we use a dual lines. So now you can say, okay, the rate of increase of my quantity, there's rate of increase, but still my quantity is less compared to my sales. Okay, this is what we can say. So when you're trying to compare both of them, if it was something like this, then I cannot compare both of these two correctly. Correct? Can I compare them easily?
Yeah, got it, Shiva.
Okay, awesome. So that's my lines. The next one that we'll see is scatter plot. Guys, scatter is important. The reason why scatter is important is that this is asked mainly in the interviews. So scatter is the only one where you need two measures as axis. It's mandatory to have both the axes as measures. So say, okay, right now my axis, first axis is profit, x-axis is sales. Both of them are measures, right? So scatter plot is important because both the axes are measures. In every other case, you can either have a measure or a dimension. So for example, in this case, okay, this is my dimension and this is my measure. Whereas in a scatter plot, both of them are measures. Okay, perfect. Now that you understood this one, so let's explore more options in the scatter plot. So when do you use a scatter plot? Basically, if you want to find odd one out, do you remember that? Odd one out. That means, so let's say you want to find something that's very away from normal. Okay. So if you observe, like all of this region is concentrated here. The only odd ones here are these two, right? Or you can even say these three. So to find these odd ones, we generally use a scatter plot. Okay. If the number of distinctions that you have is nearly 50, that's the maximum you go in a scatter plot. Okay, do you understand that? And one of the biggest advantage of a scatter plot is that because we are comparing two measures, Okay, you can understand the correlation between two measures. So you can say, because my profit is more, my sales is also more. As my sales increases, my profit also increases or decreases according to the scale. For example, right now, if you compare, this is like an x equals to y, and this is like x equals to minus y. Sorry, if you did not understand that. So if you observe here, as my sales is increasing, for the top part, my profit is also increasing. As my sales is increasing, for the bottom part, my sales is also decreasing. So this correlation between your sales and profit, or between both the measures, you are able to obtain that because of a scatter plot. Okay, that is the reason we use a scatter plot. Is everyone clear? And why do we use a scatter plot?
Shiva, can we explore include?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I did not hear you. Okay, I couldn't hear you at all. Okay, then we'll go to the next one. Okay, the next one we'll talk is bullet graph. So the next one that will go on that, just naming it, naming my worksheet as scatter, that's all. The next one we'll talk is bullet graph. So the basic idea of a bullet graph, so first let's see here, 0 or more dimensions and 2 measures. So let me select a dimension and then I'll select few measures. Say quantity and discount. Okay, I'll mark it like this. So the main reason that we use a bullet graph, okay, is that main reason we use a bullet graph is that if you have something that you want to measure towards a goal, okay, so say right now till now this is your sales and you have a goal to reach this value, then we use a bullet graph. Basically, when we are trying to find progress of a measure towards a goal, then we use this one. So for example, let me do a simple small calculation. You'll understand that in a moment. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to extract 2012 sales, and in earlier case I extracted 2011 sales. Okay, now with these two and category, I can generate a bullet graph. Now if you observe in this one, basically what am I doing here? I'm trying to compare my previous sales to my next year sales, right? This is my 2011 sales. Okay. What is my 2011 sales? 175,278. What is my 2012 sales? 162,781. This point. So basically, I am trying to compare where I am at towards a goal. This is called a bullet graph. This is where we generally use a bullet graph. Okay. Are you clear? Where do we use a bullet graph? The last charts are unique charts. Okay. Till now we have seen there is a relation between horizontal and vertical bar, line continuous, line discrete, like that, right? So now what we'll see is completely independent of one another, whatever is left out. So if you have any questions, do ask right now. No questions? When do we use a bullet graph and how do we use a bullet graph? Okay, now you might have one question. If you see these bands, right, different colors, this one is a dark gray, light gray, and not so like very light gray. So these colors are basically you obtain these colors by showing this as 60% of your measure. This next level is 80%, and the next is more than that, less than 60, 60 to 80, and more than 80. This is mostly used while you're trying to compare in generic corporate world. That's why it's showing that way. You can always modify that by using edit reference lines. So right now it's showing 60 and 80%. So if you want 40 and 80%, you can also modify it. Okay. Right now this is my 40%, and then between 40 and 80 I have given different color, and above 80 another color. Right click, edit reference lines. Here I can also select different colors. So here if you observe, what I am saying is if my total sale is till this 40%, then I'm in like red region. That means it's very terrible region. If my sale is between 40 and 80%, I'm saying like use caution. So that's why I have given yellow. If it's more than 80, then I'm fine. So we can use it like that. Okay. Awesome. So Sarita asked a question here. Can we explore more by adding a dimension in the scatter plot? So here she wanted to explore more by adding another dimension. Yes, Sarita, we can do that. So you can also add more dimensions here. So if you observe, like nearly all of these are concentrated here. The only odd ones are here. So we can give more priority to these ones. We can also exclude these, saying because this is out of normal, you don't want to show these. These are something like your data quality is not good. You can think of it that way and eliminate them. Because you eliminated, now this is your graph. Okay. Perfect. Any questions, guys? So this is my bullet. Okay. The last one we'll explore today. Till now we have seen bullet. We have seen a scatter. We have seen all of these. So let's explore circle views and side-by-side circles. Circle views and then side-by-side circles. 1 minute. So in circle views, this is my circle views. Remember, this is something like this one only, right? Just like stack bar, we have circle views, very similar in nature. So when you want to find distinct things, you use this ones. Let me do one small thing so that we can understand it more clearly. This is my circle views. Oops, sorry. Okay, yeah. This is my circle views between quantity and sum of sales. For each year, basically I'm comparing these three individual values. Now, if I do it as a line, okay, let me do it as a line. So this is nothing but, okay, this one, what am I doing? Here it's discrete. So this is a discrete option. Remember, if I click on that, this is discrete. Similar to discrete, I have circle views. When do I use these? Basically to find trend, or this looks cooler. That's all. Just like stacked, we use this one. Okay. The next option is side by side circles. So this one, see what happens if it change from shape to a bar. You're seeing this one, right? So this is similar to my side by side bars. Circles, side by side bars. The only difference is you're showing it in a circle rather than as a bar. That's all. That's the only difference between your circles and bars. Circles are basically like a fancy charts, okay? So we use it if you want to, like color up your visualization and things like that. No, nothing like you have to use circles in this case only, something like that is not there. Are you clear? Okay. If you do not have any questions, I do not want to start more charts today. I'll end the session today. Okay, then I'll end the session today. I'll end the session today. One small thing that I want from you is, do you want to have sessions in, sorry, do you want to have sessions during long weekend?
Actually, no,
During
sure.
the 3 days holidays, 28, 29, 30. Yeah,
No,
send it to
sure.
me as an email. I understand. Can you send that to me as an email, please? Or do you want to have it like a pool? We can do it right now. Let me start a pool. Please answer it over there. Okay, perfect. You should see a pool. Okay, guys, can you please take a look at that? You should see a pool. Please answer it over there. Okay, not all of you voted yet. Two of you are still left. Okay, so the results are basically most of you doesn't want to have a class. There's also a few of us who answered maybe one class is fine. Which do you want, guys? One class? No. Wow. It's equal percentage between yes or no right now. One deciding vote in the pool. Do you want to have 1 day class? No, yes. Hmm. Well then, we will not have any sessions on the weekend. Okay, guys? On the long weekend. Awesome. Have a good day, and we'll meet again on Tuesday. Sorry, we'll meet again on Friday tomorrow, and then there won't be any sessions on the weekend. Okay, bye. Thank you, guys.